Big news yesterday from the Senate. They have passed this Marco Rubio bill to leave daylight savings time as it is now, keeping daylight savings time permanent, which would happen in November of 2023. We would not fall back in November of next year. This was the announcement that it had passed, and you can actually hear another senator, Kristen Sinema, going, yes, when they do it. This is the announcement.
I ask unanimous consent that the Rubio substitute amendment at the desk be considered and agreed to.
Is there objection? Without objection, so ordered.
Thank you, Madam President. And as the day goes on, I look forward to others will be coming to the floor here in a moment. You'll see it's an eclectic collection of members of the United States Senate in favor of what we've just done here in the Senate, and that's to pass a bill to make a daylight savings time permanent.
That's what they've done. They've passed it in the Senate. If they pass it in the House and Biden signs it into law, you'll be done with falling back. We'll fall back one more time.
People
we'll
get what they want.
And it is 60-something% of Americans say this is what we want. But warning, fair warning, it's going to be in February dark until about 8:30 in the morning. Right? Don't you think?
True, especially the further north you are in the country.
Yes, it will be
sunrise on. It's different at every latitude, but where we live, on January 20th, the sunrise would be at 8:30.
Yeah, 8:30 in the morning on sunrise.
Which means, here's a fun fact. I didn't even think about this because I think it's a bad idea, and I think it's nonsense that they're even talking about this. But we did it 50 years ago, and it didn't last a year.
That's right.
Americans hated it.
That's right.
And one of our fellow meteorologists in the business put on his social media, he said, if there's ever a snow delay or, because of ice or snow on the roads in the morning, that's going to push school to like 11 o'clock in the morning because the sun will have to get up and warm the roads. If there's a 2-hour delay, they'll have to push that.
So it's a 2-hour delay becomes a 3-hour delay because the sun doesn't come up in time.
Correct. In the winter.
Now, the flip side of that is now, wouldn't schools, because we're so versed in just doing a virtual school day now, couldn't they just say, all right, we're going virtual today? They've talked about never having another snow day again because of...
Well, yeah, but there were plenty of them this past winter.
And I thought even when they said, okay, we're going to do virtual school day, it's hard to just jump back into that. We got used to it, but all of a sudden out of nowhere, okay, now you're virtual for the day. Teachers can't really plan that.
True.
I don't think that works. Patty Murray, she's a Democrat, but this got bipartisan support. She's from Washington and said it's about time.
Any parent who has worked so hard to get a newborn or a toddler on a regular sleeping schedule understands the absolute chaos changing our clocks creates, and for no good reason.
I never found it that chaotic when we had our kids at that age. I didn't think it. No, I didn't blame that.
This country used to have backbone. And then they call, what they call it? The Sunshine Protection Act.
The SBA.
How a giant lurch toward idiocracy.
Now,
massive. Someday we'll look back.
But now,
when Putin's tanks are running down the streets of St. Louis.
No.
That's right. Anybody know what time it is?
I want to push back on this, on Chris, who is saying that this is not a good idea. The reason 50 years ago, let me ask you this question.
Yes.
50 years ago, they did try this, as we mentioned the other day. And I didn't know it. President Nixon, for 16 months, we just were on daylight savings time. And people hated it because their kids were waiting at the bus stop in total darkness in January, February.
All of them.
There's still the same number of kids waiting at the bus stop, right? It's not like that's all changed, right?
It's more.
I think fewer kids ride the bus.
You think fewer.
Look at the carpool line versus the kids getting on the buses at your schools.
So that's my question. Will parents be outraged again, or is it way fewer people riding the bus, so it doesn't matter as much? There still are some that ride.
You're still going to school in the dark.
Yeah, you are.
You're still dropping your kids off in a school zone in the dark.
Yes, you are.
There were no. I think part of the reason too was there was supposed. We were in the middle of the quote unquote energy crisis of the mid '70s, and there were no appreciable energy savings. That just never panned out, from what I understand.
What was the theory that would make you save? Why
you'd be active later in the night? You wouldn't have to turn your lights on. You wouldn't,
Okay, right. That makes sense. But you still have to turn them on in the morning when you get up.
It doesn't matter. I mean,
on one
side, you got to run.
There's an old saying. Saying in Texas, I don't know if they say in Tennessee. Rob from Peter to pay Paul.
You're robbing because you get darkness in the morning versus at night. Now,
and we're not as agrarian as we once were. I mean, there's not as many farmers out there. So
okay, right.
And that was the thing, is like get the work done while the sun's out, and you have a longer day.
So you're saying it's unnecessary because we're not as agrarian, whatever that means.
Well, some are. I mean, our culture isn't. I mean, we're mainly daylight people, and there are people that work all hours of the day. You know, schools could change too. The states could change their times. The kids could go to school at 9 and go till 5.
9 to 5. My son does.
I mean, I know there are people that work at night and work in retail that work all the hours, but that might help some too. Have kids go 8 hours or 7 hours.
Well, that's my kid's schedule. He gets there at like 9 o'clock, and he's home. He gets out at 4:30, and he's home, right before 5.
Yeah,
every day. And I think that's late. I mean, that seems like a completely late school day to me.
But does he? What if he was on a team?
Well, I don't know.
You'd never see him, right?
Yeah, he'd go directly
if
to
he
practice.
went to basketball practice or baseball
he'd
practice.
He'd go directly to practice from like 5 to 7, I guess, and get home at 7:30 or 8 o'clock. Now, full disclosure, I'm for the Sunshine Protection Act that Senator Rubio.
Wow.
Because I like it lighter later. I enjoy the evening of light. Chris Demm says, why you never even leave your home. But I am pro the sunshine. I've always thought it's dumb that we change back and forth. We'll wait and see if it works out, because I think it is going to happen. Seems like the House is interested in it too, and I think Biden will sign it into law. It's become people have said now that we shouldn't be doing it. It seems like the majority. Michelle is in Japan, our listener furthest away, talking about daylight savings time. Michelle, go ahead.
Well, first of all, I want to clarify here that in Japan we do not have daylight savings time, and so I'm actually really for this because my schedule for listening to two guys named Chris gets messed up when the daylight savings times change, and I have to stay up later in the night to listen to you guys. So I'm ready for this, but
yes.
I'm going to have to go out on a limb here and disagree with Chris Demm for like the first time ever. I think it's wimpy for Americans to be complaining about how much sunlight there is before sunrise. Oh, we can't see until 8:30. Okay, I've gotten up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I mean, gone out of my door at 6 o'clock in the morning to get to work when I was a substitute teacher, and you can see. And, maybe it's a little bit more, difficult up in the north, but it's not like the sun has to get all the way up to the tippy top of the sky before you can see there is light in the sky.
Even in February at 6:30 in the morning.
Yes.
Okay. That's Michelle rebuttal. You don't agree with that?
Obviously the sun rises. I'll get that, but I think it's just sort of an abstract thing. We want sunlight. You can't create daylight
in the evening. You're just shifting the time that you get the daylight.
Our time in our minds changes.
Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate your comments on this.
That's fine. I don't mind if she disagrees.
She has for the first time, she's disagreed with Chris Demm on this. It looks like it's going to happen. I think it's going to go through this time. For years, they've talked about it, and it's always like, okay, it'll go. As soon as daylight saving time's over, okay, go away with it. This time, Senator Rubio had the temerity to get in there and introduce a bill that is bipartisan, and they voted on it yesterday. The Senate has said they're going to do it.
Well, we'll see a year later is when you'll know after you've gone through a whole cycle.
Yes, we'll know. We'll know in
2025.
Yeah, really 2020. November of 24, we're not falling back. Is the way it looks. Or 23. November of 23, we're not falling back. So we'll know in, I guess, November of 24. We've gone through a whole year. How did it affect us?
So at 10 a.m. when the sun's cracking over the horizon. What the hell's the sun? What is it, an eclipse?
James, you're talking about daylight savings time. Go ahead.
Yeah, I live in the Myrtle Beach area, and, golf is big around here, and this would kill the golf because, they're losing at least 2 hours of tee times.
In the morning, but can't people then play after work? Play 9 holes after work?
It's hotter.
You'd think that, but a lot of people aren't used to that. When people have travel here, they're used to starting first thing in the morning.
You're right. Now, somebody called us last week and said he wanted this to go through law because he likes to play golf in the evening. But you make a good point. Saturday mornings, they do tee time 7 a.m. Not anymore.
Oh, yeah. Being a guy who works, and lives here, I love playing in the afternoon. So it would benefit me, but for the industry, that would kill him in the morning.
But aren't we just really talking about it would kill him in the morning in December, January, February? Is there a lot of golf going on at 7 a.m. in December, January, and February?
You'd be surprised.
Really?
I play all year round living here, and there's still, usually it's hard to get a tee time between 8 and 9.
Okay, that makes sense to me. Florida too.
He's living the life.
Yeah, you are. You got it going.
You want to play when it's cooler in the morning. And at 6 o'clock in the evening, it could still be hot.
Well, Florida definitely too. You're going to get people playing early in the morning in Florida. Good point. Good call, Mike. You're talking about daylight saving time too. Go ahead.
Good morning, guys. P1.
Thank you.
Yeah, I am absolutely for this change because, one, my kids are the first on the bus every morning anyways. They are at the bus stop at 6:30.
Mm-hmm.
It's dark anyway,
Yeah.
before or after the time change. That doesn't matter. Secondly, they are waking up basically an hour earlier right now.
Mm-hmm.
They are crying every morning because they are so tired. Because I'm basically getting them up at 5 o'clock every morning.
Yeah, but
You're still going to get up at that time.
that'll
Well, no, I think what he's saying is since the change,
Yeah.
they're still adjusting.
right. So you don't like the adjustment every year. You have to go to it every year. You want it to be one way or the
Yeah,
other.
and-
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
That's never going to change. Kids don't want to get up.
No,
And
that's
teenagers don't want to get up.
No, what he's saying is for the first week or so after the time change that he has trouble getting the kids up, so he doesn't like going back and forth.
And that's why I said America used to have spine. Used to have backbone.
It toughens the kids up.
To make them. Well, look, I've been lethargic all this week. Let me be honest with you. I've
How
had
many Diet Cokes have you consumed since the clocks changed?
when did it change? 18. I've had 18. No, this morning 20. I've had 20 Diet Cokes since the time change.
Cheers.
Dustin, you're talking about daylight savings time. Go ahead.
Hey, yeah, P1.
Thank
So I work for a local EMS system,
Mm-hmm.
and I've worked my entire career on nights. So I work 12-hour nights, go in, 7 p.m., get off at 7 a.m. And for all the night shift folks, it has been very difficult to come home in the morning and go to bed full daylight.
Yeah.
So I'll be getting home,
Yeah.
and it's dark.
Yeah. That's right. A lot of people don't like going to bed in the daylight. Now, I do that sometimes. In July, we go to bed in the daylight.
Yeah, that happens.
Yes,
but you have to, we've had to buy blackout curtains.
we have too. That's what we have, blackout curtains. So you just, that's exactly right. So and yet I'm still for the Sunshine Protection Act that Senator Rubio so bravely introduced yesterday. Thank you, Dustin. Now, here's another thing I want to say, and this is to our own Biggie.
Yes.
I don't like pranks, okay? And for the past several callers, the first one I thought it was just a typo, but now he has typed on here daylight savings time in hopes of getting me to say it that way.
Wait a minute. The message that Biggie types, that only you can see.
That only I can see.
Reads every single time.
Yes.
Such and such caller wants to talk. Michelle from Japan wants to talk about
daylight savings
savings
time. And I, at first, thought, Biggie's had a slip of the finger. Luckily, I caught it. Well,
He's
now,
cranky from the time change.
That's
but
right.
No.
But now I see bank after bank of call. Oh, Jay, daylight savings time. David, daylight savings time.
I don't know why it just seemed funny to me. In my head, I hear it as like daylight savings, more like daylight savings.
See that? He's
I'm
winding me
doing
up.
my own show in here.
He's winding me up.
Yeah.
If only one senator had the balls to say that.
Exactly.
Just one. What about Manchin? He's the guy.
Yeah, come on, Manchin.
This was bipartisan. This is bipartisan.
Get some old senator up there.
Biggie.
Daylight savings, not more like daylight savings time. I don't think you can say that.
I can't bring in my tobacco crops when it's dark.
Are you for the sunshine?
No.
Why?
I stand with Chris Demm on this. I just think that I don't know why it's such a big deal. I don't mind the time change.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks for a few days.
But what's the point? What is the point of doing it? To change every year?
I'm sure there's not, but now I feel
More
like
light
it's just,
early in the winter.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
For the kids.
for the
at bus
kids.
stop.
That's
For
what I was at
everybody.
the bus stop.
Yes, for anyone going to work. That's right. But remember, I have seasonal affective disorder.
How do you
The
know that?
winter is very difficult.
Yeah.
I've been diagnosed with
Doesn't
that.
exist.
The winter is very difficult for me.
He's had a son with bagel belly.